Hello, welcome to a new vlog. It's Thursday, the 18th of November. I want to say it's morning, but it's already 15 past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm looking a little rough. Let's just say last night we did some shots, okay? We can leave it at that. I wanted to start this vlog. I go to work a little bit later today, so I have some time to talk to you. And I wanted to dedicate this vlog to the Tinies, because this is the week of reading tiny books. You may be familiar with her, but Jessica from Jessica's Book Stack on Instagram, she started Jessica's Tiny Book Challenge, hashtag. I mean, you don't only have to read tiny books, but it's an encouragement. She's encouraging us to read and share tiny books that we are devouring this week. That means probably 150 pages or less. I talked to her and she was like, I mean, you can make it whatever you want. But for me, I think I'm looking for books that are under 150 pages. That started on Monday. Today is Thursday already. So I think this might be a short vlog, but I have already read 2 Tinies since Monday, and I'm almost finished with the third one. So maybe I'll start with the one that I'm reading right now, which is finally getting to it, and I'm really excited. I'm using this challenge also to wow, hard for me to talk today. I'm using this challenge to, oh my god, what am I trying to say? To finally push myself to read some smaller books that have been on my list for a long time. One of which being Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera. I cannot roll my R's. I don't have the skill, so Spanish names with R's are really difficult for me to say correctly. My girl, Iggy, from Literary Iggy, loves this author. He's a Mexican author. 3 of his works have been translated into English, which this is one of them. She has been raving about this book for so long. She's talking about it in our group chat with Rebecca from Rebecca Eats Books, who you also love and know. Just also read it for this tiny challenge and absolutely loved it. And we were talking about it in the group chat and I was like, okay, yeah, it's time. So I'm 70% through that, so I think I have probably like 15 or 20 more pages left. So right after I film this clip, you know what I'm doing. I'll maybe save my thoughts for when I finish it. But the 2 Tinies that I read before, the first was Mouthpieces by Eimear McBride. Eimear McBride is an Irish author whose novel Strange Hotel I read. I have a whole reading blog dedicated to that, and how I thought she was just so brilliant, although I feel like that book heavily confused me. I think she's just really writes in a way that I never really encountered before. I knew that she had a work called Mouthpieces, which I think is like 40 pages or something, and it's 3 short plays that she wrote. And by plays, I mean like 1 character monologues. I'm not sure if they've ever actually been adapted for the stage, but she did write them as stage plays. So I gave this book a 2.5 stars. I must say that it was kind of disappointing for me. I really like her writing, and I love to read a play, like a modern play, or any kind of character piece. So I was super excited. The first 2 really didn't work for me, and the last one I actually thought was amazing and really beautiful and brilliant. Abstract is great. I'm all for abstract, but the abstractness has to somehow touch me or make me think, or yeah, it has to just affect me in some way, and just the first 2 were just not meeting me somehow. Something wasn't working. The last play is called The Eye Machine, and it's a woman kind of giving a speedy monologue. The fact that it's about the eye, so it's sort of like being looked at, what it means how society maybe views women, and then reverse like the eyes of women in the world, and also lists of just very strong one-liners, violence, perception. It's also on Kindle for I think $2, so if it interests you, it's not like too big of a purchase to make. The second one that I read was House of Incest by Anais Nin. I think Nin or Nin. She's a French, Cuban, American writer, poet. She's known for kind of the only, or at least at that time, the first woman that was really writing erotica. So a lot of her work deals with erotic, is erotic lit. This piece, House of Incest, is actually her first work of fiction, and one that is actually less sexually explicit than her other works, and more dealing with dreams. Like, this is built from her dreams. House of Incest, I think, comes from, well, part of the book is like describing this house of incest. But incest in the sense of we're looking from a woman's perspective at other women or other characters, specifically one, almost like I get a goddess vibe, named Sabina, loving something in another person that resembles something you have. So it's like to fall in love or be enamored and entranced by qualities in another person that mirror qualities in yourself. And why do we only look for things that we have in other people? So this is like what is incestuous about it, like almost being aroused by yourself and your own self. I don't know. This is kind of like what I took from it. This is my first introduction to her work, and I'm absolutely obsessed. How did I not read her until now? A friend of mine said that her work was actually like required reading for her in school. Definitely was not for me. I wish it was. I just feel so connected to how this woman uses language. And every other sentence for me is highlighted. If you follow me on Instagram, as I've been reading all of these Tinies, I've been posting also like passages that I really like. I link downstairs if you want, and I make a highlight on my profile. Anyway, just wow. You don't really understand what she's saying. Like a lot of the times it's really poetry. Sabina, you made your impression upon the world. I passed through it like a ghost. Does anyone notice the owl in the tree at night, the bat which strikes the window pane while others are talking, the eyes which reflect like water and drink like blotting paper, the pity which flickers quietly like candlelight, the understanding on which people lay themselves to sleep? Does anyone know who I am? You could really take each paragraph and try to tear apart maybe symbolism or something, which I think would be really interesting. Me reading this was just like a river flowing and washing me with this fertile language. I don't really know how to explain it more than that. Imagery and nuance and very, very visceral. It's dark. Also, I do feel like it deals with eroticism, perspective of the woman that we're reading from, maybe dealing with what her urges are and how those feel wrong, and she wants to be liberated from these like constraints, and she wants to just like indulge in her fantasies, and something about the weight of that is almost like trapping her and drowning her. But just taking in the words and the sentences was just like so delicious. So I thought that that was amazing. I gave it 4.5 stars. And I will catch you later. I'm back. My bangs have totally grown out, so they look crazy. Not sure whether to cut them again or just to let them grow out. The sky is looking extra gloomy. I feel like it might rain. Okay, I finished. Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera, translated by Lisa Dillman. I wanted to mention that. First of all, what an amazing book. That sounds so general, but you know, I don't know, it's 100 and actual story is 62 pages long. In 62 pages, Herrera does something magnificent. This is exactly what we mean by the power of a tiny book that can do way more than I can get from a 500-page book, if you can write like this. I also wanted to just say that, well, there's so many things I loved about this book, but the opening is just amazing. So I really love the chapter titles, The Earth, The Water Crossing, The Place Where the Hills Meet, The Obsidian Mound. Gorgeous. So The Earth, which is the first chapter, we meet our main character, Makina, I think is how you say it. And basically, the book opens by her witnessing the earth literally open into a huge hole, basically into hell, and this man on the street that's crossing the street just falls inside, swallows this man. Him and a dog and a car. And she says, "Slippery bitch of a city," she said to herself, always about to sink back into the cellar. Amazing, amazing opening. One of my faves. I mean, it's called Signs Preceding the End of the World, so you already are going into it with this kind of like sense of doom. This image like very much assists in that. Also makes the earth and the land its own character inside this novella. Basically the premise of this book is Makina, I hope I'm saying that right, is sent by her mother to cross to the other side of the border. So we're in a small village in Mexico called the Little Village, I think. Her brother has crossed over to the other side, which I'm assuming, which is America. So her brother has already gone over to the other side, like because of something involving land, like buying land or something like that. It's not so clear. So she is sent by her mother to basically migrate across. So this book's dealing a lot with migration, immigration, bodies moving from Mexico to the States and vice versa. So we have an amazing, strong character who you just love from the moment that you meet her. She's so strong-willed and is so aware of the atrocities of daily life. Also her awareness of men and violence and sexual harassment, and she just deals with that so well. And we basically follow her journey crossing into the States. It's not said that it's the States, but it is. You know, and the people that she's meeting along the way that are kind of helping her sneak across, meeting, you know, police or border control. I don't want to spoil anything because I feel like you really should read this book. Like, it is 64 pages, you know, you can read it in one sitting, in one afternoon. The language is beautiful, but also packed with so much metaphor that's striking. He's dealing a lot with language also, especially the kind of blending of different tongues, of different languages, shining lights on lives of immigrants, and yeah, just kind of what it means for her to be crossing a border into a place that she also doesn't want to be in, she doesn't want to exist in, that she doesn't really want to cross into. Really beautiful and just packs such a punch. I had no doubt because, you know, my gals that told me this was great, I trust them, so it makes sense that I would love it, but I did really love it. I can't wait to read his other two works that are translated into English. I think next, you're balancing on it right now, try to get through Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass, which is poetry by Lana Del Rey. I think I mentioned this. It's just a book of poetry that she wrote, and she also has kind of an audio book goes along with this. I just think to listen to it, to listen to her reading it, will be nice. I already did that with like 2 poems. I've just been wanting to get to it, and it's tiny, so it feels like the right time. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain. I'm gonna make some tuna salad, I think, and we've got to head to work in about 2 hours. So I'm not sure how much more reading I'm gonna get done. Maybe tonight, maybe catch you tomorrow. So I'm about to make tuna salad, and I needed to share with you how gigantic this celery is. Look at that. It's a whole plant. Is almost midnight. It's Friday. We had work most of the day, and then it started pouring down rain, so we decided, well, we had a brief drink outside, which was really nice. Well, work is always a little bit crazy, but we had just like a very, very intense 2 weeks, and so we celebrated the end of that with a nice cocktail. And then we got home and it started pouring down rain, so we started watching TV. We finished the morning show, season 2. We're big fans of this show. We watched 1 episode of this new animal documentary series on Netflix, and the first episode was about big cats. And it was really fun, and we loved it, and so interesting. I took a little break from the Tinies, and I read a little bit from the 600-page book that I'm like reading right now, simultaneously with the Tinies, which is In the Woods by Tana French. So I read half a chapter of that today, but that was all the reading I really got done, so not much to update you on. He loves to make this joke. I read a ton of French. Day off tomorrow, so should get some reading done. So I'm gonna head to bed soon. Ohada is listening to the new Adele album that came out today and taking a shower, so we're winding down for the night. So I'll talk to you in the morning. What'd you say?
All types of cute clothes up in here.
Yeah, we need to do a winter like switch out in the wardrobe. Also, I wanted to share with everyone a dirty secret of ours, which is we love to throw clothes on the floor. Isn't that just divine? I'm sure you all thought that we were extra organized people, and now you know the truth. So we're going for a little rainy walk because we're just tempted by the weather. It's very rainy and cold outside. On those days where you probably stay most of the day inside, sometimes it's nice to just go out for a little refresh. I'm wearing this knitted balaclava, not baklava, that's a bit different. Friend Mai sewed, I guess last winter, or knitted, sorry, not sewed. So we're gonna go out into the force of weather, nature. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm also wearing sweatpants and a raincoat. And you're wearing a dress and a sweater.
That will give me pneumonia.
Anything professional. I think I'll put something else over it. Hi.
Hello.
So we went for a walk in the rain, that was nice, and we ended up in a coffee place
Yes.
and had a cute coffee and read our newspaper and books.
I offered to share some thoughts on the book I finished this morning that I had been reading for like a month now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a slow reader.
Okay, camera died, so we moved to the phone. Hopefully it doesn't fall.
Funny, it has like a really different translation to Hebrew.
The title?
Yeah, in Hebrew they translate it to like anywhere else, but it's down there on a visit by Christopher Isherwood, and I read before Goodbye to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I read it twice, like once in high school and once more recently. And he writes a lot about like traveling, and he's been to like many different places. He like writes in first person. Main character has his name basically.
Christopher?
Christopher.
So it's like, we think it's like an autofiction?
It was kind of nice to read this one slowly, also because it spreads over a long period of time, like from 1920s to mid 50s, I think.
That's nice. It feels like the time passes as you read, or as you take time to read it or something.
Yeah, at first I was like reading it by a pool, and now it's like winter, and I finished the book, and it's like time has passed, and I also like went through periods as I was reading the book, and it does have parts that are written like a journal, which and he also is writing about writing a journal.
I like books like that.
Yeah, it sounds very much like he is just writing things that are actually happening to him. But it does feel like really, really personal and like really relatable. The experience of reading something that feels like a journal is very, very like comforting, and because sometimes when I think of writing a novel, I'm like, how can one person like actually imagine a whole story that has like an arc and has like something that ties everything together, and then you read something that is just kind of like life and in a pace of life, but also doesn't describe every single day in over these years. Because it's life, it has some arcs, and it has a journey and a beginning and an end, and like a development of this Christopher, whether it's him or kind of a version of him. So it's really hard to try
talk?
to verbalize.
I know.
Anyway, in the first chapter, there is this relative that tries to father him and kind of sponsor him, and he really resists that. But then by the end, he starts to reflect on it in a different way. And then in the last chapter of the book, it's kind of like he becomes a sponsor, almost like a father to someone else. So it has this interesting arc as he starts to meditate and he meets this person that is really reaches like despair and wants him to teach him how to meditate. And there are other figures maybe in the book that like you can see through them, like his growth from, I don't know.
They like reflect something.
Yeah, the whole book is happening during kind of like the build up into World War II and during World War II basically. He's like never inside the war. He flees Germany. And then London, runs away from London to California before it's bombed, and he was actually in Greece like a little bit before the Nazis invaded Greece. He's never actually inside the war, but you do feel how much it affects his psyche.
Is he Jewish?
No. Which is also interesting because like in Israel you hear so much like the Jewish perspective on World War II. You just hear the experience of someone like not inside,
but how
how he's like all the time like reading 13 newspapers a day. But then when he's in California and he's trying to like meditate a new kind of lifestyle, he like still sneaks out and like almost like sounds like a relapse. Some sort of like buying newspaper, and with people that like read the news all the time that I feel like I never read the newspaper enough. It definitely affects like the psyche of people here. And yeah, it's like a really, really interesting element of this book. He's kind of getting depressed and like by what's happening around.
That sounds familiar. It sounds like, I don't know, like exactly
like
what
COVID
what we also like experience now, even like with social media. Like sometimes you just get so much information about also like terrible things that it's like can take a toll on your mental health, for example.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed?
Yes.
You liked it?
I did.
How many stars would you give out of 5?
I think 5 stars.
5 stars?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like Christopher Isherwood. Like, can I like, I don't know.
What?
Like.
Of course you can say you hate
rate him like with.
Yes, you absolutely can. You can say it's trash if you want. Who would you recommend this book for?
I think like gay people at their 20s.
Okay. Work. Okay. Is that all?
Yes.
I can put my hand through that. It's so big. Thanks for listening. Hi, it is rainy. I've got my raincoat on, and I was just buying some wine for us to drink while we watch a movie. I don't have an umbrella. I should probably dig that out of my closet. Hi, good morning. It's Sunday, 9:12 in the morning. We're headed to work, but I really wanted to just quickly make this clip before I had to leave. I wanted to say that I finished Violet Bend Backwards Over the Grass. This was my morning read yesterday. I literally woke up and it was super rainy. We've officially had like a temperature shift here. I'll show you my outfit in a second and you'll see. I woke up and it was super rainy and thundery, so I just stayed in bed and put my earphones on and listened to the audiobook of her reading this. Yeah, she reads some of them and there's some nice music also in the background. Overall, you know, like I said before, I think if you're a Lana Del Rey fan, like I'm really a big fan of hers. So I feel like my loyalty is, like in order to be like a fully loyal fan, then I should read this. So I enjoyed it. I did bookmark a few that I thought were particularly strong. One is called Paradise is Very Fragile. Other one is called Happy. In the Hills of Benedict Canyon. The strongest was Sport Cruiser, which is about her learning to fly and also learning to sail. And yeah, those are just also continue to be metaphors for other things in that poem. The book itself is super beautiful. There's, you know, pictures of hers there, sort of like a collector's item type of thing. If you're looking for groundbreaking poetry that someone uses this form like masterfully, then I think you can skip this. But if you like her and you're a fan, then yeah, I enjoyed it. I wanted to share with you also what I am reading now. Another tiny that I've really wanted to get to for a while, which is The Divorce by Cesar Aira. Also with an introduction by Patti Smith. So what could be better? Patti Smith's introduction was great, started off with a bang. She's amazing, so that was really wonderful. And I'm about 30% through it, so I hope today I can finish it. I just didn't get a chance. But we sat at a coffee shop yesterday after we took like on our rainy walk, and I just was like totally sucked into the first part of the book. We're following one character who's just been through a divorce, and he decides that he's gonna go off on his own for a while. He's gonna kind of take a trip away from where he's living, and he's sort of just like describing his days, his like walking through the streets, different cafes, different things or people that he's meeting, but briefly. Does give me a sort of Patti Smith vibe. I can tell why she likes him. And then there's like an incident where there's rain that's gathered in an awning off of one of the bars that he goes to, and the owner is like cranking the awning to be, I think, longer or shorter or something, and this man just happens to roll his bike right under it at the time that a huge amount of water falls on him from the awning. This like moment, just this kind of coincidence, he's at that place at that moment to be like completely drenched in water, and at the same time see a woman who he hasn't seen since he was a child, and they parted on like in a really dramatic way. So this like tiny little moment, the book like just splinters off into this crazy, I don't know, scene for pages and pages and pages about this man and this woman and when they were kids in this school that goes on fire. So there's something kind of like very surreal about the writing, but also bizarre, and things are getting twisted, but he's so captivating. I was completely sucked inside. That's kind of where I'm at now. I finished the kind of section where you follow them trying to get out of this fire that's happening in the school that they were attending. I'm really excited to finish that, and I think maybe I'll have more coherent thoughts when I'm done. Go to work, and I'll catch you later. Yeah, it's officially coat weather. Boots, black, I'm looking very corporate, and a coat that my friend Mai gave me. I can't find a brand on it, so I have no idea where she got it, probably secondhand somewhere. That's what I'm wearing. And you're giving us pop of color, baby.
Papa Orange.
Papa Orange. Hey, Papa Orange. We're gonna go ahead for a coffee because we ran out of coffee at home. So we're gonna do that and then go to work, and I'll talk to you later. Say bye. Hi, I'm back from work. I just also made a stop in a few grocery stores because I'm gonna try to make this slow cooking, like long cooker recipe of lasagna, which is supposed to be just super easy, like stacking all of the ingredients in layers and then leaving it on the long cooker. We're going to see a show tonight around 9:15, so it'd be nice when we come back that we'll have lasagna to eat. So I hope that it works out. This evening I wanted to finish editing this vlog because I wanted to upload it tonight, but I'm wondering if that is too ambitious. We'll see. And I also want to finish my book, The Divorce, which I spoke about earlier. I think that I can do that. So let's start with the cooking and then see what progress we make. I'm balancing you on a kitchen appliance. Hope it doesn't fall. I'm putting half a cup at the bottom so that the lasagna sheets of pasta don't burn. And then on top of that, we're gonna just lay down our wavy lasagna sheets. You can break them up also so that they like actually cover the bottom. And then on top, we're putting ricotta. You can put veggies or kale. Actually, there was no kale in the store, so I'm just gonna do without. A little bit of pesto, and then cheese, which I just got like a shredded white cheese, and then noodles. And you just repeat the process till you end with a layer of noodles, a little bit of sauce, and a little bit of cheese. And then we just leave it. We have our lasagna. Okay, this is what we're dealing with here. This is the last layer. I hope that this works. But now I'm just gonna put it on, we have a kind of a heated plate that you can put any kind of pot on and it will cook it very slowly. So let's hope that this works out, but looks tasty. Good morning, beautiful people. It's Monday. I have to run to work. I always say that because, you know, work's gotta be done. Tried to take my bangs out again. They're just super long. But I wanted to just update you on The Divorce by Cesar, Aira. I really keep wanting to finish it, and it's not that long, it's just I really haven't had a chance. I have to say I'm really, really enjoying it, but there was one section that just felt a little bit to me like, okay, we can move on from this. There are some parts that I'm kind of like, anyways. I'm gonna finish that when I get home from work. I am determined. Or I can finish it like on my lunch break at work or something, and then I'll be able to just wrap my thoughts on it. Oh, I'll show you what I'm wearing. This is a very, very comfortable kind of knitted long sleeve shirt. I think this is very, very old, from Mango, I believe. And these are my new-ish favorite trousers from Cause. So I'll link to those below. Super oversized, yeah, just everything I love about a trouser. Probably over this, I'm gonna throw on some kind of sweater, either Uniqlo, navy, cashmere, or I don't know, something. I'll film a last clip when I get home, and then you will have made it to the end of the vlog. I'm very proud of you, so I'll see you soon. And it's time to wrap up this video. I finished reading The Divorce at work today on my lunch break. And I have to say, the unfortunate reality which was that I really didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Such a Patti Smith fan, that the fact that she introduced it and loved the piece so much, I, wanted to love it also because I just love I want to love everything that she loves, Yeah, I was so enthralled with the first part of this book. It had to do with the fire in this school that I told you about before. Then also a sort of brief story that splinters off about like a sculptor and a boy who was sent to live with this sculptor. So that also was like an interesting section and some very, very beautiful language. Rocks with candlelight and the shadows and hands and sculptures and things like that, which I thought was really like satisfying to read. But then I must say, I found myself just not fully understanding what I was reading so much, but also not really caring. This book is really researching like the instant, like what is an instantaneous moment. I was also rewatching Rebecca's video from Rebecca Eats Books when she read this, and she was saying that like a divorce is the theme of the book in the sense of like divorce between time and space, between time and parts that exist in one moment. So the book also kind of, it's like everything happens and is instigated by this one moment of this man with water that falls on him and his bicycle. And then we're like splitting off into many different stories. And so there are a few stories within that just really didn't capture me. Like I wasn't interested. It's just like a book of coincidences, which I really love. Like reality is being kind of weaved with something absurd. Which sounds like everything that I would like. I just couldn't really get into the latter half. Maybe not disappointing, but surprising, because I thought, judging from the first part, that I would really vibe with it. And then it lost me. So that's the conclusion of that one. I'm logging off now. I'm gonna edit the rest of this in the vlog and then upload it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this week. I feel like it was a pretty full vlog, lots of reading, lots of books, so a lot of other things. Very book heavy, which is nice because I felt like I didn't have a lot of book content to bring you recently, so I'm glad that I could offer you that. I'm gonna drink some wine and edit, and I will see you in next week's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.